It's a time-honored tradition, passed down from generations. And even though we don't know what tomorrow holds, we can do our part today to ensure the future of elk, other wildlife, their habitat, and our hunting heritage. Join today and help us ensure the future.
Well, welcome to episode 35 of According to Flint. And nothing says 35th episode. It's the 35th episode is the brother episode, welcoming to the big show. How many times nominated announcer of the year? 4-time. 4-time nomination for announcer of the year. More importantly, morning show host at KSRA in Salmon, Idaho, the center of the world.
And I got the WPRA announcer.
That was the Women's Professional Rodeo Association.
Not to brag, but
announcer of the year, Brother Will.
Yeah.
So we've talked. I told you this before. We have a whiteboard with everyone we want on the show.
Wish list?
The wish list.
Yeah,
You've been on the board, but I kept, hey, should we get Will? And I said, I'm not wasting a Zoom call. We got to do this in person because everything's better in person.
Yeah, plus,
plus you're here.
Zoom. Yeah, plus I got to Billings.
Yeah, as we do this, as we're sitting here filming this in town for the big, it's the 26th-ish Chase Hawks Memorial Rough Stock Rodeo. Not to get too much detail, but a great tradition of always the week after the NFR, the 3 rough stock events. Yeah. And as we're doing this, it feels like
it does.
Chase Hawks. For everybody watching, it's about 9 degrees right now. That is, you come off the NFR, they get a lot of the NFR guys, gives you an opportunity to have, anytime we have work in December in this business is good. This is a great event though.
It's and I think it started with just a dream that I was talking to our friend Rick Haynes back home in Salmon, Idaho, who was at the very first meeting for Chase Hawks. And it was supposed to start out as a kid rodeo, and Scott.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. And Scott Cheshire, because Chase was 6 years old, and I thought a kid. Then all of a sudden, it evolved to, the first year was tremendous, and so it just kept evolving over the last 25 or 26 years. But he said in that meeting, when Scott Cheshire says, nope, we're going to invite NFR Livestock and NFR Cowboys, and Rick Haynes leaned over to a guy, and he said, boy, this isn't going to work. Boy, was I wrong.
I don't know.
Boy, was I wrong.
It's funny. It's a real, when you look at the bigger picture, to me, it's an indicator of what kind of the rodeo world can do when it's given a good direction to go. Who the hell wants to come get on another bareback horse after 10 at the NFR? Quite a few guys.
Yeah.
Who, when it's 6 degrees outside, you've just watched 10 days of the NFR. People have said to me, do they get a crowd there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I went to the first, I knew Chase Hawks.
Right.
But, I remember that day.
Yeah, I know.
I was in White Sulphur Springs with his brother Justin. And God, he was the thing about Chase, this whole thing, and then we can move on, but he was an ornery little shit.
Was he?
Oh my God. He'd moon you. They had a dirt pile up at their place and he'd moon you. We'd go shoot prairie dogs. Oh yeah. Anyway, it's a good.
What a cause, and it's done a lot of people a lot of good, and it's always fun to be here. You did the first one, so did I, and I've been here ever since, and it is an honor to get picked again to come do this. And like you said, it's work in December and fresh off the NFR, and so, and I think as I look back, it kind of started the rough stock rodeo thing.
I remember there was the 3 rough stock events and a freestyle bullfight.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember that because I hated them.
Yeah, you was in the barrel. Yeah.
But there was now. It's sort of like we have discussions about doing PBRs, that we have to do something different to attract the people. You know, when Bull Riders Only in PBR first started, there wasn't a standalone bull riding on every corner,
right?
Like there is now, a Bullorama, and now they're everywhere.
Right.
Chase Ox, same way. There was having just a rodeo with the 3 rough stock events was a little unheard of.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah. And they made it all work. And now this year, for the first year, it's sanctioned, and they have added money that's really good. So it's pretty good.
Well, and it's nice of you to donate all your time for
I
charity.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a little bit.
You know what? We did the first couple of years.
Forever.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. And that's. Anyway, you know, I said I didn't want to waste. We need to sit like this and visit, because I think you and I, when we get rolling, whether it's in the truck, driving across from Shoto to wherever, it needs to be like this.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot. You know, do you and Will work together anymore? And we don't get to anymore.
No.
You're at rodeo and I'm with PBR.
And I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it.
But I have a lot of people come to me and say, I want to do what you do. How do you ever get started? I do Q&As with bullfighters and bull riders. What made you want to decide to be a cowboy? The unique thing about our sport, and the part that scares me if the chain ever breaks, it's so unique in how it's passed on to the next generation. The majority of us in the rodeo business, it came from up here.
Yeah.
And it scares me that if we don't pass it on, it'll stop.
Yeah.
But our summers, that's all we did.
It's always, since we were kids in grade school, before you were even in school, you know, and we went with Mom and Dad and in the Mini Winnie, you know.
The red pickup and the camper.
On our way to Gallup, New Mexico and all that stuff. And I, maybe you the same way. People say, did you always want to be a guy? Nah.
Me either.
I loved football, basketball, track, and baseball, and you were the same way. We loved it. And now Pete was a roper and a good one and a steer wrestler, so you could see him.
Yeah, the other brother, Pete, he was the cowboy, and we just went.
Yeah, we just went, and I don't know. And it's funny the path that you're led down. And then I went to college and was going to school at Montana State, and I always wanted to be a DJ, you know, a on-air guy. So when I was going to school, I was a DJ, and all of a sudden, Dad booked 2 rodeos one weekend and had me go to Gardner, Montana, Upper Yellowstone Stampede.
What a rock pile.
It was.
Oh, my God. No announcer stand. Did you announce from the flatbed?
And it snowed.
Of course it did, because it was June.
Yeah, this is Father's Day.
Yeah.
It was Father's Day.
But that was the deal, because Dad was announcing, what would he?
No, he was in charge of the District 3 high school rodeo in Shoto,
Oh, that's
Montana,
right.
and he couldn't leave, so he sent me, and Tootie, she typed up all the, you know, this is what Dad says and that sort of thing, and that's good. That was, and still I didn't have any aspirations of doing it, but we always kind of wanted to be, or me, I don't know about you, kind of thought, well, I can do that. I like entertaining because we play. I always wanted to be a singer-songwriter.
Yeah, me too.
Guy, singer-songwriter guy.
We didn't. The rodeo thing wasn't our bug, but we had a bug of crowds and performing.
Right.
And I always say that was our avenue.
Yeah, and that's right. And it's still maybe, well, I can't say rodeo isn't the bug, but it's the vehicle by which we feed our ego.
It's exactly right.
That's
exactly right.
So. And it did the same thing. The radio station did the same thing for me. What are you doing at the radio station? Well, I first of all had to do something.
Yeah.
And that was just perfect. And those people that owned the station, they let me go.
KXXL.
KXXL. That's where I was working when Dad called me to go do Gardner. Now, you know, and I hadn't. How long has it been since you did radio? Oh, 1984.
Yeah. Before I forget, you made me think of something, that we never had aspirations to be where we are. Because look what it's given us, or how we've earned it, whatever.
I'm so glad somebody else is in charge that took us to a place that we like.
I think there was a benefit to not having big aspirations, because when I started, I was doing rodeos late 80s, early 90s in Montana when we worked together. And we just kept going to NRA rodeos in Montana. Yeah. What I see now is there's kids out there, announcers, clowns. I want to do what you're doing. Okay, I did a year of little open rodeos out in the country. I want to go to the I'm ready. I want to go to the PRCA. I want to do what you're doing. Well, hell yeah, you want to do what I'm doing. I'm in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
So I think with us, neither of us thought we'd ever come close to being at the NFR, anything.
Right.
Don't you think that made us more patient? In the meantime, we mastered our craft, kind of.
Yeah, that is so key, because I get the same thing. Get the same thing. What's the best way to become an announcer and all? You have to, first of all, you can't be afraid of a microphone. You got to, and I always say anybody can do stats. Yeah. But it's the in-between. It's the flag presentation. It's a prayer. It's the in-between events. It's the work in the specialty act. It's the clown act. But we spent, at Gardner, Montana, the first year I did that was 1981. That was 1981. And I know people are thinking, well, he should be better.
You're 89 years old.
He should be better. But we bought our PRCA card the same time.
1994.
1994, and I'll never forget it. And the reason was, for both of us, we wanted to give ourselves the opportunity to maybe do bigger, better rodeos.
Yeah, getting calls. We were getting phone calls.
And it took, that's what, when, not to get into the COVID thing, but, all of a sudden, after 30 years of getting where you wanted to be, and all of a sudden you were looking for a job, and you call an employer and say, hey, I want to come to work for you. I'll do my best and I'll do a great job for you. But if rodeos come back, I need to leave.
I need to go back.
No, sorry. And I don't blame them, but it took 30 years and we're still trying to get better.
Yeah.
You always have to be trying to hone your craft.
The biggest downfall you and I have talked about is guys who don't believe they need to get any better.
Right. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're a basketball player or a football player or a 4-H later or a rodeo clown, or if you can't take constructive criticism or don't try to get better every performance, then, it's just...
I think there is a difference in, now listen, I by no means saying that a rodeo fan can't pursue a dream in the rodeo business. I'm emphasizing a little bit of advantage we had.
Oh, yeah, but it still took a long time.
We did not learn rodeo from that side. We didn't learn it from the covered grandstands, watching it from the audience, watching the stage. We learned it from backstage. What did they say? Saw how the sausage was made.
That's right.
Our mom always said we grew up on the steps of an announcer stand.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting about 2 steps down.
Yeah.
And I'd sit just like that and I'd watch.
Yeah.
And to this day, I can watch I'll have bosses, PBR bosses say, hey, cut this off. He's taking his rap. Yeah, I know. I've been doing this. I can watch a guy and know exactly how long he's going to be.
Right.
And you too. Yeah. And that's an advantage. We didn't have to learn that. We started at a different point, I think.
A different place. We watched the production of the play from backstage. And, we got in on watching Dad do his homework and meeting with the stock contractor, the committee, and we knew all the behind-the-scenes stuff that your day doesn't start at 7 o'clock with the performance. It starts at 8 o'clock that morning.
What?
Oh, I know.
It's an easy job. 2.5 hours a day.
Here's what I tell people. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Here's what I tell people. I don't care if you're an accountant, a lawyer, a Walmart greeter. everybody's job looks easier from the outside than it really is. And, you know, we have no idea. You know, a teacher prepares on a Sunday afternoon, you know, for the week that's coming. So, I mean, if a performance lasts 2.5 hours, I probably put in 5 hours that day.
Yeah, and you may use a half hour of what you prepared, but you still got to do it.
Yeah. I had a conversation with Butch Knowles on my podcast this week, and, you know, we talked about the preparation and all that, and you would rather have too much than not enough.
Because you get evaluated every minute of your job.
Oh, man, every word you utter is... It's
more today.
Yes.
Every single word.
And you know what? Some people never miss a chance to be outraged. And that's part of the problem with America. And,
and that's a whole another show. But you can say something and a person isn't offended, but they're offended because they think that person's going to be offended. Right. You said that and that person's going to be offended. Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, but still.
Yeah, still they should be.
They should be offended because it's a harder world. Is. There's less now. We have prided ourselves of not talking politics. They can get that crap at home.
Right.
Not treading into those areas.
Right.
As much pride as I've taken for 25 years, it still happens. Yeah. It's amazing how people mishear things, misinterpret things. Yeah. I didn't say that. Mm-hmm. And I used to be quick to apologize and say, I've given up. I'm at a point that I say, you know what? I did not say what you're saying. I didn't mean anything by it. Come on. Yeah. And it's almost done me more good.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I find myself apologizing. I said something on the radio the other day that offended a few people, and they messaged me and said, "Will, don't divide our little town with your politics and all this." And I said, my message was, "You're right. I'm wrong. I'll do better. Thanks for listening."
Yeah.
And then the barrage of message started of her whipping her politics on me, and I just let it be. There was no winning there.
Yeah.
So,
well,
anyway,
like we always say, you know what happens when somebody gets offended? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Also, I don't know. I like to talk about things that have done us good.
Good.
We talked about, I get asked all the time, how'd you get into this? And it's the worst. I just dread the question. On an airplane. How'd you ever get into that? Can we, how many times?
A little deeper, deeper, please.
Yeah. But the other sport thing, we played other sport. That was our passion. Football, basketball, track. Mm-hmm. Loved baseball too.
Yep.
And I just think that's a healthy thing. Mm-hmm. I know in the rodeo contestant world, if I know a guy was a state champion wrestler, and he's in the bareback riding or the bull riding, I give an edge to him. Yeah. Because he knows how to win. He's got references to other things. In what we do, publicly speaking about it, entertaining, I think having that references to other sports helps us in navigating the direction rodeo goes.
Yeah.
Where people say, we're a pro sport too. And you say, hold on. There's some references that are healthy there that benefit us, I think.
Well, you talk about that. It just widens your scope. Jake Barnes, 7-time world champion team, a great basketball player. Brody Kress just won the average at the bronc riding. 3-time Wyoming State high school champion. Marvin Garrett, how many world titles did he win in the bareback riding? Great wrestler. Can go on and on.
Such and such calf roper played tight end at whatever. Yeah. There's just an edge of competitiveness there. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, this probably won't be real popular, but I hear all the time, rodeo athletes should make the same as other pro athletes. It's more dangerous. Bull riders. Well, just because you choose something more dangerous, it doesn't mean you're going to make more. We also have the reference of other pro sports. The reason pro baseball players, football players make millions is because of demand and TV deals.
Right. That's the way
That's
it
it.
is. Yeah. TV, you see what's going on in the NFL. All of a sudden, there's all these, all these positive cases, and boy, they should cancel the game. Nope,
No
we
way.
don't care who plays. We don't care who plays. You throw them out there. It's got to be on TV, 2:00 Mountain Time, Sunday afternoon, so we get our money, and that's just,
And billions.
yeah, billions. And
That's where money, that's the demand. Baseball players. It's on every single day.
Yep, it is.
The World Series is, I watch the World Series. And so that, I always use that. Cowboys play hurt, they're way tougher. Cowboys play hurt because it's a necessity.
Yeah, and you're right. It's a necessity. They love what they do. They want to get to the NFR, and why not? I mean, the money is. I never compare because it's like apples and oranges.
Completely.
It's like apples and oranges. We love the sport, and we get to work with the best people on the planet everywhere, from stock contractors to committees to the audience and the people that just gather. How many good people do you see at the NFR that are, Alex Bregman, that plays for the Astros, was at the NFR.
Huge rodeo
event.
event.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Vince Vaughn went one day. The actor Vince Vaughn went with our friend Ryan Growney, and I've seen him at Calgary, big rodeo.
Yeah, and so the money is getting better.
Yeah,
but
those guys, I think they like the fact that the guys are working their asses off for $30,000 a night.
Yeah.
At the NFR, not $2 million. I think it's a healthy thing, and it pulls fans like that in.
Yeah, and as more money comes into the picture, it'll taint the sport. Hopefully, it can all be going the same direction. And boy, Flint and I aren't saying right now we don't want people to make more money. We want the money to be spread around, and we want people to make millions if they want.
And I bring the word I write down, other sport references. You need it in your job. And I think not everybody sitting in the crowd is a pure rodeo fan or a pure PBR fan. There's people that are huge football fans that we need to relate to. So I think that provides is pop culture references, money references. You and I have had the discussion a long time that a lot of people think that the rodeo mark was always, he's won $1 million in his career.
Yeah, I don't talk about
that because that's not, there's somebody sitting in the stands going, I went and watched the Patriots the other day. That guy made $1 million this week.
Yeah. For the game.
For the game.
Yeah. Those, NBA players, some of them make he's not in, he's losing $600,000 a game,
Yeah.
So because I'm a sports buff, I might say Casey Field won $250,000 in 10 days.
Right. That's a good reference.
NFR, but I don't generally say career earnings because that's not necessarily complementing our sport.
Yeah. Yeah, true. That's a good way to put it. What do you, as a rodeo announcer, when it's time to turn it on and the lights come up in that 2.5 hours, some are 3 hours, whatever. What's the goal? What's your goal?
My goal is to inform the people that want informed. The rancher that just wants to watch the market, he wants to know what's going on and who's up and what they're right. Inform the people that want to be informed. Educate the people that need educating, first time, but entertain everybody. That's my goal.
Entertainment business.
It is.
In a sense.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yep. This is show business, boy. Benny Butler.
Yeah.
We're in show business. This is show business, whether you believe it or not, because we've said this a million times, Flint. We're competing. Should I go to George Strait tonight or should I go to the rodeo? Should we go to the movie or should we go to the rodeo this afternoon or tonight at Pleasant Grove, Utah? Should we, the movie, the ballet, what you're competing for entertainment dollars, and now at rodeos and PBRs, you have pyro, you have lasers, you have the big screen, you have music, and it has evolved into becoming entertaining. And even the Cowboys are becoming more animated, and I love that more and more of them acknowledge the crowd, but that's my goal. Yeah, inform the people that want to be informed. Educate the people that need to be educated, but entertain everybody.
I had a boss at the PBR used to say, we are a professional sport wrapped in an almost Broadway show. Yeah. And that's unique to when we start comparing rodeo to other sports. That's unique because we're the only sport that has you in that role. Hey, when I was teaching school, and in college, I announced football games. I never wanted to be a rodeo announcer.
Right.
But go to a live football game. They don't have this guy, talking. It's.
Yeah. First down and 10.
Yeah. Tommy Bellata on the run, a gain of 6.
Right.
Brought down by blah, blah, blah. 3rd down and 4, Bobcat.
Right. That's all.
We don't have that.
Then you're out, right?
Yeah. So it's very unique in that the way we present our sport is so much different. And it obviously is because we're in the entertainment business. So we can't, there's such a line of to teeter selling the Cowboys, but then a guy in my role steps in, a John Harrison or a Justin Rumford or JJ Harrison. Then that's such a tradition. Yeah. Of what rodeo is too.
And thank goodness people like you are there because, and it's I also feel an obligation because not many people do. Now with the TV outlets, it's becoming better. But we as rodeo announcers, we're the only marketers for our rodeo stars. You could say, this guy's been to the National Finals Rodeo 11 times. He's walked away with the gold buckle 3 times. And right now he's number 4 in the race for the world title. And all you hope that those people over there, this guy must be pretty good.
This guy's good.
Yeah.
When you're in Redding, California,
right.
You got to sell this guy.
Right. And sometimes for a while, I felt like we had an obligation to market our stars to at least those 8,000 or 10,000 people that were there.
Yeah, but now you're marketing because a lot of your audio now goes on Cowboy Channel because they're taking the in-arena feed.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people watching still don't understand.
Right. Yeah.
That it's the rodeo announcer. And that's another thing. I blew in the face. I've got. Why don't these announcers, when I'm watching on Cowboy Channel, just quit talking to TV commentating and live event commentating are 2 completely different.
Oh my gosh.
Don't translate it at all.
Oh, no, it's hard. But you change things a little bit as an announcer because, they just watched me, heard me for 7 nights in Greeley, Colorado, and 10 days later, I'm 4 nights in Sheridan, Wyoming, that sort of thing. And that gets in your head a little bit.
You damn right it gets in, yes.
And you go, oh boy, should I change up my prayer? Yeah, I would, but I can't think of a better one, and I don't think anybody else. People are quick to criticize, but they don't have any solution. Here's an example of what you're talking about. The in-house Rapid City, South Dakota, last year, and thank the Sutton family, and thank goodness for Christy Nome and all that. It's in the Civic Center. Was in the Civic Center, and I don't know the last time that there was a live audience that I really announced to. And there were 8,000 people jammed in that Civic Center. You've been in there a million times, and it was loud, and it was festive, and it was fun, and it was wild, and there were all the world champions there and all the great livestock there. And somebody sitting in his sweats in the recliner said, all this announcer does is yell and blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, the old adrenaline was going pretty good. Yeah. And it was a great event, and there were people hanging from the rafters. Oh, and by the way, this ain't for you, guy in the sweats in your recliner. I'm glad they watch, but they have to understand too.
You don't hear the crowd. You don't have the same view.
Right.
I've been very outspoken on behalf of my colleagues as well, that you're not getting what's going on. I've been through it. We've taken, when the PBR started, a streaming network and just took the arena feed, and you don't get that. There's not mics for the sound of the crowd. And all of a sudden I started getting social media messages. Why don't you retire? You're doing the same stuff every week. Suddenly, as I put it, people discovered George Strait doesn't sing different songs at every night of his concert.
Does he
Weird.
skip Amarillo by morning? Does they only do that once a week?
Yeah. You know, all of a sudden. And so it's been a very cool thing, the Cowboy Channel taking rodeo to everyone. But turn the sound down if that bothers you, because those people, here's what I saw. Cowboy Channel needs to get a different clown and a different announcer. Whoa.
It ain't them.
That ain't them.
Yeah.
They're hired by the rodeo. I talked to one clown who said he had a rodeo call him and say, well, we're going to get somebody else because the people have seen all your stuff now, because they watch on Cowboy Channel. So anyway, not to get, that's a tangent a little, but it's a tough one.
The same thing that makes it good makes it tough sometimes.
The Superior, Montana. Remember, I wrote down Superior.
What do you mean?
That's
I remember?
The first time I had helped Lloyd Ketchum with some stuff. First rodeo I did was in Superior, Montana. Yeah. You were announcing, and I in the summer of 87.
Was it?
As I was out of high school.
Oh my gosh. What, didn't we love going to Superior?
We went there for 6-7 years before we ever.
Till 1993. 94. Yeah.
And
man, that was so much fun. Oh.
You know, whatever happens, modern technology wise or whatever in our job, there still has to be a relationship between, now everybody calls it the entertainer. I tell them, be proud of the title rodeo clown, because you're a rodeo clown.
It's good.
PBR is not a rodeo. That's why we changed it wasn't this big. Well, the entertainer, whatever you are.
Right.
Rodeo entertainer, rodeo clown. There's got to be a relationship there, because the history of it, when I started, there wasn't a microphone.
No.
And I fought it. I didn't want one.
Right.
Because I thought it would take away kind of from that big, it's a big stage. So that animation.
Yeah.
So there's still, no matter what we do, there's still that you thing.
The most effective rodeo entertainer is one that can create a caricature before he and I chat on the phone or on the microphone.
Yeah.
I think animation, and Butch Lemkuehler was great at that.
Butch Lemkuehler was one of the best.
Keith Isley is great at that. John Harris, all the good one. They create a character before they even say a word, and I think that's, I don't know. It is entertainment. It is entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's in the tradition of a rodeo clown, and it's good.
The announcer gig is a tough one, I think. Whether it's getting into it or advancing, I think the announcer deal is one of the hardest. Because there's rodeos, there's a security and a stability for the audience when they come next year, and it's your voice that says, welcome you early comers.
Yeah.
Hope that's your mic. We don't do mic check 1, 2. We just talk. Welcome you early comers. Hey, we got a great show. There's a stability in the announcer that's the voice of the rodeo. In Clovis, California, Wayne Brooks is the voice. Right. You're in Livermore, Reading, wherever, Sheridan, Wyoming. Clowns, okay, we're going to go 2 years and rotate.
Right.
2 years and rotate.
Right.
So there's turnover, and if a new guy comes in, we're glad there's a new guy. Come here.
Yeah.
Announcers, it's a tough gig.
Same thing that makes it good makes it bad.
Yeah.
Boy, it takes if you have any prospect of moving on, it takes a long time to get there. Takes a long time to get there. But once you get there and you do them a good job, then they'll keep you. Then they'll keep you.
Yeah.
So there is a comfort to the audience. There's a comfort to the committee that hires you and thank goodness for all the fans in the committee. But if something as simple as being able to pronounce all the towns in Utah or not just Utah, but Montana, wherever you are, it's just getting used to that and getting to know the sponsors and all that. And then once you get in there, the committee goes, well, why would we? Unless you really screw up, you're probably going to keep your job for a long time,
right?
But it is tough, and sadly, sometimes it takes a tragedy to get.
That was, it's a long running joke, but not a joke. Well, one of those guys at the top's going to have to die. Yeah. You always say, and sadly, that does.
Well, how did I get to Salinas, California? Phil Gardenhire died. He and Zoop Dove did it forever. And then, so I went there for the first time in 1999. Then when Wayne Brooks went there instead of me the next year, and then Zoop Dove decided to retire. And then, so we both ended up there and been there for 21 years ever since, and with our friend and I just love him. I miss him every day. Hadley Barrett, same way. And one thing Hadley taught me too, as an announcer, you don't have to sound like, if you master the English language, that isn't a bad thing to present an audience either.
That's right.
And he and Clem McSpadden were.
Bad grammar drives me crazy.
Oh,
I don't care if we're Cowboys.
You get that from your mom.
I seen it. No, you didn't. You saw. This bull hasn't been rode. Ooh, ridden.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's okay.
Nothing wrong with good grammar.
That's right. And where you use that to your advantage, and Hadley was the master, one of the masters, was in flag presentations and empty saddles presentations, and he was just an orator, know. And it was good. I learned a lot from that old guy.
Speaking of that old guy, he amazed me because he changed with the times a little bit. He evolved because it was a different style. Well, I'll give our dad a little shout out. He was and rightly so, especially then. Times have changed a little. Never judge a ride, never influence the judges by talking during a ride. Oh, look at him spur that horse. Right. Oh, look at the great thing during rough stock.
Right.
So you got to be careful of that stuff, although I think it has changed a bit now. But back then it was about our dad, as the announcer, kind of ran the production. Bareback horses, your horses are in. Well, I look back now. Well, I know the national anthem's about to start, but he ran it all. 2 to go steer wrestlers.
Right. Yeah. We wouldn't even think about
that, but that's how it was. Yeah. And he was always in the greatest part of the greatest state of the greatest country in the world.
That was still good.
And when I think back, we grew up within the grand entry, our dad saying, we're in the greatest part of the greatest state of the greatest country in the world, and we're about to watch America's #1 sport, the great sport of rodeo. Yeah. Still the greatest opening ever that nobody has ever stolen.
That's right.
Except you.
No,
when you first started, I didn't know.
The first rodeo I did because Tootie typed it up for me.
I still look back and go, that's never been topped.
Yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
Still is.
You could be in Gardner. And you were in the greatest part of the greatest state.
Yeah. And I think I probably told you this story. I was down in the media room at the NFR a couple of years ago. There's Mike Huckabee.
Oh, yeah.
There's Mike Huckabee. And he had the biggest smile on his face. He didn't have an entourage. He was just there. And I went and shook his hand, told him I like him. he does a good job on Fox News, and he was running for president then.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't know you were a rodeo fan. And he goes, what's not to love about rodeo?
Yeah.
He said, you stand for the anthem, you pray without apology, and you love America. What's not to love about rodeo? And I always try, and I've used that line a bunch, and he's right. What's not to love about it?
You know what advice he gave me?
Tell me.
And we saw him this year too. And he said, these are your daughters. I said, yeah. He said, he put his arm around me. He said, let me give you a little tip. If you want to really protect them from certain kinds of boys, run for governor, because those boys got to go through a lot of security to get to your daughter.
With a pass, you know what I would have said? With a pass like mine, the only office I can hold is president.
Yeah, that's right.
You talk about, I was thinking about this a minute ago, you talk about before microphones. Let's show them how you used to be before.
Hey!
Yeah, what?
You know, Will, I was walking down the street today.
You were walking down the street?
Today I was downtown Superior.
You were downtown Superior, Montana.
Yeah. And the whole, even the punchline.
I know. Afraid not.
Afraid not. I took that string, he did this. And
yeah?
Yeah.
He did the string thing and was,
I said, you with those other strings. Afraid not. Yeah, that's how it worked.
I know.
And I was afraid of a microphone because I had that down.
Yeah.
Right. I was afraid it would take away the aura of what rodeo clowns were.
Right.
And maybe it has. A lot of old guys, I think it does.
Yeah, but you have to refine as an announcer too. Yeah. You do. And I just love announcing. I love my job. Yeah. I'm a lucky guy. And now it's hard, but what job isn't that's worth it? And sometimes is it just a job, Mm-hmm. And I had a committee guy one time say, we were at a production meeting at 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon. Will, do you like coming here? I said, I love coming here. And he goes, well, you should do it for free then if you like coming here. And he was about half kidding.
Half.
And I leaned over the table and I said, let me tell you, I love my job and I work hard at it every day. But I said, I'm missing my granddaughter's birthday today. You're paying me.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't get it because I haven't celebrated New Year's Eve.
Nope.
At my hometown.
4th of July, when everybody else is drinking beer. They think we're drinking beer and eating hot dogs.
No.
And it's, again, we love what we do. I've missed everything. I've missed.
Yeah.
And now it affects me now.
Yeah,
I know. I keep thinking, for years I kept thinking, yeah, but when they do this, I'll be there. When they're in college rodeo. And here I am. Man. Still.
And I'll tell you, the other day when I was accepting the WPRA award, and Joe Beaver talked to me, and I said, I've missed dance recitals for my kids and now grandkids, and you miss T-ball games, you miss birthday parties. And God bless them, they're still your biggest fans. But boy, it's hard. And I think of Jim Nantz and Joe Buck. Yeah. I mean, they have to do, you got me crying. They have to spend Thanksgiving in a broadcast booth.
Yeah. Look at that job they're doing. The prep work and the travel on Thanksgiving, on Christmas,
it's just, but they know what it is going in. Everybody. And so are there any regrets? No. Do we miss things? Yeah. Everybody understands and mostly appreciates what we do. But you still have to fight your inner self too. Mm-hmm. You have to fight your inner self.
Yeah. He's still my friend. I just haven't seen him for years. Barry Bales. He plays stand-up bass for Alison Krauss.
Oh, man.
And he told me one time, he said, I play for free. I get paid to travel.
There it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of days I'm getting paid to work too because my knees hurt.
Yeah. And again, I just love I have 2 jobs that I absolutely love, and I'm probably in the 2 percentile of people that love what they do.
I've told our mother this. I think you're better at radio. when I listen to you on the radio. And that's not lessening but that's a comfort thing for you. The radio thing. Just think, we can cuss COVID, and it has taken so much from everybody. Without COVID, you wouldn't be living in Salmon, Idaho, working for a great radio station. Isn't that weird? How, when they say God's got a plan for everything, there's a reason everything happens, I say BS. I don't always believe that. And then I look at you, COVID took everything. I got to keep working some, and I was on a salary. I did okay. It took everything from you, but in turn gave you what you're doing now.
It was the toughest year. Ask mom and dad.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Ask Kathy Geyer. Ask my kids, people. And it is, I get emotional, but I went up on a ridge above the Teton River, looking at the cows I was going to have to give up on shares, looking at the tractors that I was going to have to sell, looking at the land that I was going to have to sell. And as much as it is, I missed the money, my job. I asked, yeah. It was, you woke up with no purpose. And every day you're laying in bed at 7 o'clock saying, all right, I'm going to fix it. By 9, you go, I can't. I can't. And when people come and lecture me about how we should be acting, that makes me mad. And it's those people that have signed the back of a check all their life. And that's what upsets me. I don't care. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, whatever it is. But you know what? That was the hardest year. But so when I was up on that ridge thinking about putting a bullet in my head, I did ask for help because I didn't know what else to do. And 2 weeks later, I went to the Salmon Stampede. Yeah. I went in Salmon, Idaho, and I went and did a little interview at this little radio station on the corner of Shoup Street, Salmon, Idaho, brand new studios. And it was a different person interviewing me that had not been there in the 10 years previous. I went and had this interview. And it was a lady about the age of my daughters. And so when I got up, I said, well, what happened to the other guy? Well, he left and, I said, well, who are you? She goes, I own the station. I said, you know what? I always wanted to be a morning guy at a radio station. And she goes, you're hired. And she hands me her card and laughs. I said, don't laugh. I'm calling you in 3 weeks. I said, and I called her in 3 weeks. The next day I was there, and thank goodness for them. Rick, my friend Rick and Kenny Haynes let me live in somebody says, boy, you got it all now. Yep, I'm 58 years old. I'm living in a 12 by 16 bedroom with my friend for 30 years, but thank goodness I'm here. And you're right. As hard as 2020 was, 2021 was the greatest. It does give I wouldn't be doing this. I've always wanted to do this. Yeah. And our friend David, who was just here, maybe it's time we start something here. Yeah. I'll end this topic with this. Like you said, do whatever you want, but don't tell us how to feel. Right. Because if you are all in, you've never had it all taken away. That's right. And it's the entertainment. We in the entertainment business, I've talked about it a lot. You and I have this thing right here that needs to be filled. Yeah. Right, wrong, or whatever. People, that's just why we're in it. Right. When everything shut down, we didn't have anything filling that up, and it was miserable. It's hard. Made me unjaded about my job. It was hard, and thank goodness I ended up where I am, and those people are who they are, but I love it all. I have the best life ever. Yeah. You talked about what your goal is as far as educating, informing. There is something, the PBR, our goal has always been make the Cowboys the stars. Mm-hmm. The PBR has succeeded in that, made the Cowboys the stars and the Bulls. Mm-hmm. But it's different.
because the main tour is 26 stops or 20 this year, and it's on TV every week, and it's sold as a sport. Rodeo, there's 800 of them. Mm-hmm. Now, the Cowboy Channel, it helps. But it is a task. I think Casey Field, 6-time bareback riding world champion, is one of the greatest champions rodeo has ever seen. Not by the sheer number of championships, but by the type of champion he is. Mm-hmm. You just want more people to know that.
You do.
Come here and meet Casey Field. You saw the interview that says, yeah, I'm really excited to this. Back to you guys. It's nice. It would be nice to get to know. That's how guys become stars.
You're right, and there's a lot of them in our business. A lot of them.
I picked one.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of them in our. Those are the kind of people that would drive 900 miles on a gravel road to help you. They would. Mm-hmm. He was. We also. Jesse Davis, remember him? He was like that. He never won a world title, but he always not. But you know what they did in their spare time? You want to tell the story? They went over to the Middle East, spent some time with our troops while they were rehabbing from their shoulder
and not
injury.
Enough people know that.
Not enough people know
because there's not that regular get to know. You know who's working on that is our friend Justin McKee. To his credit, he loves doing those personal interests, those type of stories.
Yeah, and I always wanted to do that. That's why sometimes I do, or a lot of times during the podcast that I have, not to bring up mine on yours, but I want to tell those stories. I want those people to know they're other than just an entertainment object or a piece of meat. These people, I used to talk about Trevor Brazile, He's a husband. He's a father. Mm-hmm. He's a man of great faith, and he's the best we've ever known in that order. Because I believe that's how Trevor Brazile would want to be known.
I talked to Trevor. He's excited. His son's playing basketball. Yeah. Treston's playing basketball. He likes to rope. We'll see. That was Trevor. We'll see. He likes to rope, but whatever.
Yeah.
But so here's something needs to be fixed. See, I'm the devil's advocate.
That's good.
Because that's what I can do that. And I know it's hard when you're within the organization, and this isn't even PRCA, this is NFR. We want to make our Cowboys stars. Mm-hmm. And our best Cowboy right now, because it says it on the buckle, is Stetson Wright. Mm-hmm. An all-around Cowboy in the rough stock. I didn't think it would ever happen again.
Again, after Ty Murray.
Twice at the NFR. He performed after they sent the people home. He had re-rides at the end. And they sold the rodeo.
Yeah.
And had him, but our LeBron James, performed after they told everybody, game's over, but he's going to go. All for
time.
Wait, it's going to take him 3 minutes to load this bull. Sell it.
Yep.
Sell it. Send the people home. He's the best one we have.
Right.
So to me, you're making Cowboys as stars. That's rhetoric.
That's leaving a football game when Tom Brady is going into overtime.
On the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
There's a salute. And what I'm saying, and people say, well, they had to bring that bull down. I don't care. Fix it.
Yeah.
I always relate it back, and I'm proud of the fact if Jose Vitor Leme, he's always the last guy out because he's number one.
Right.
And there's been a lot of times a bull run off and he gets a re-ride.
Yeah.
The greatest people at our job are in place to entertain for 3 minutes.
That's right.
We're in place. Hey, it would have given the announcers opportunities to give the storyline, build drama to the fact that the number one guy just got a re-ride.
Right.
Here we go.
I know. And here's something to consider. the casinos don't close at 2 a.m. in Las Vegas. It's okay. They'll be there. They'll be there.
The cafe will still be
That's
open.
right. Yeah.
I know. And I know there's a lot to it, but now,
There is.
But now Cowboy Channel doesn't care because they control. It's not a time slot on CBS.
That's right. They can do
Cowboy
whatever they
Channel
want.
do whatever the hell they want.
That's right.
And that needs to be fixed. That infuriates me.
Yeah.
You know who was there one of those nights watching the rodeo?
Tell me.
Ty Murray.
Yeah.
Furious.
Yep.
Couldn't believe it. Here's the next Ty Murray possibly. He bucked after the rodeo. Well, the
And won
reason is,
money.
whoa. Don't give me the reason.
Yeah.
Fix it.
That's right. Yeah, they gotta. And it's just like everything else in life. If you want to leave, leave. If you don't want to be there,
They'll leave,
But
yeah.
you know what? This guy's going to go. You might want to stick around.
Yeah.
And they had one of the best barrelmen in the business there. They had
Great,
the best
three great announcers, a great
Yeah.
music guy. Everything's
Everything.
in place
Right.
to do that. And that's just, I hate to say it, that's tradition, and it needs to be
I agree.
fixed.
Yep.
So, okay, I like when we have topics, and we've talked about this topic before, and I've had Hall of Famers on this show that we've talked about this before, and I think it's another thing needs to be fixed because I'm a fixer.
Okay.
I'm a fixer. To get into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, you have to have been a world champion. I think that's wrong.
That's true, though. What you're
That's
saying.
one of the criteria to get into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame is that you need to have been a world champion. Are you telling me Rod Hay, who made the NFR 20 times and never won a world title, isn't a Hall of Famer?
Cody DeMoss.
Cody DeMoss,
14 times there.
Rod Lyman.
That's
Are
right.
you telling me if Lisa Lockhart and very well could never win a world title?
It breaks our hearts.
It
for
does,
her.
but it makes her not less of the most. People can't warm her up when it comes to being a cowgirl.
I know.
And they're
She's
not
the
all of Fame.
highest winning cowgirl in NFR history, including Charmaine James, Sherry Servey, Christy P. All of them. She has won more, but she's not a world champion. But boy, she's a champion.
Can I be an activist to fix that? Where do I go?
I don't know.
I'm going to
Kent Sturman. I know the director.
talked to somebody on that board, and I said that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Walk away, never think about it. It's depriving. It's taking away. There are great names. Now I won't name any name. There's some that were world champions that are.
Yeah.
I don't think are Hall of Famers.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Are you in the Hall of Fame?
No. No.
You're not?
No. No, but you know what? And I never really thought about it. I think someday I should have a chance to be, because I think I changed how it was done.
Yeah.
I think I changed how the job
You were
was
an
done.
8-time world champion.
I know that's, you're not supposed to say that, but I look back now and go, there was a moment the role changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think I set expectations higher, which I like. That was always
And
kind of a goal.
A lot of guys of your colleagues have said that publicly, that you changed the... Yeah.
But I'm still working. So,
Yeah, right.
and working for, in the eyes of a lot of people in the PRCA, I have heard PBR called, I got inducted into the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame, and Rick Cole, a dear friend who got up and talked about me, said, well, and Flint now works for a competing organization. Whoa.
Nope.
No. I just changed because I did everything I thought I could. So, but a lot of that's the...
Right. What people don't get, well, I don't know if they get it or not. People just like bull riding. They like, and they look at bull riding and they don't. I mean, they like, and they identify either as bull riding or rodeo, same thing,
or both, or whatever.
And I think we help market one another.
Hey, you're telling me that somebody who's sitting in a city somewhere watching PBR on TV every week and the rodeo comes to town, they go to the rodeo.
Right.
And
That's right.
a lot of people, including 1,700 people in Choteau, Montana, for the most part, don't know the damn difference.
Right.
Why are you working 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Hey, we sure missed you at the 4th of July rodeo here this year. Well, thank you. I haven't worked it since 1993, but I appreciate your concern.
That's one of the places we miss going. Like we were talking about Superior, Montana earlier, and Shoto, Montana. When you buy your PRCA card, you know full well that you're going to give rodeos like that up, and which you don't like. But geez, look, we're lucky. We're lucky to be where we've been.
And I am in the role doing this. I've taken on a bigger role of analyzing the entertainment business and what it can do to get better. I'm definitely never trying to run rodeo down, or PBR does stuff that I don't agree with. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of changes recently. Nobody asked my opinion, and I felt they should have. Mm-hmm. And I've been a little outspoken about that. I've been around a long time. I think I know crowds. I think I know what people respond to. And in this role, I have felt like it's my responsibility that we need somebody to, the Hall of Fame thing with pro rodeo, the re-rides after nobody there's a lot of people scared to speak up that somebody is going to hurt their career. I don't care.
Yeah. I never even thought of isn't that bad. I never thought of the Hall of Fame thing. Maybe I'm narcissistic and thought, well, since I never make it,
hell with you guys. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's a lot of those topics, but those are the ones that have meant something to me, but who knows?
The rodeo thing, I don't get involved politically as much as maybe I should. Maybe that has hurt me, not being into the deepest, darkest depths of the politics of professional rodeo. That's okay.
Yeah.
Randy Corley said, "Well, enjoy your job, provide for your family." That's what rodeo.
That's right.
And luckily I can, and I have, but I can provide for my family, and I have enjoyed my job, and but maybe I should take it more serious. But you know what? Now I have a place to go.
Hey,
now I get to go back to work Monday morning at 6 a.m. on KSRA Radio.
KSRA Radio, there's an app. Is there an app?
Yeah, stream it live, ksrradio.net.
There you go.
KSRA Radio. And let me tell you, our mom listens every morning.
Oh, believe me, I know.
Those people down in Tucson, Arizona, they listen. Tallman listens. Wayne Brooks listens.
I know.
It's crazy.
Funny, modern technology from Sam and Idaho. I know it. The Rodeo Roadshow.
I talked to Mark Baird, who's the chairman of the Tucson Rodeo. I said, "You got radio stations down there?" "Yeah, but geez, they're not,
Yeah. You want to hear what the coffee place is serving up? You and Shirley. I know. There's something good about it.
And it's
so,
like a hug from an old friend.
Okay, tell us, before I let you go, give us January, February. People, I know I have a following, fans. If they were to go to a rodeo somewhere this winter, where would they hear your voice?
Chase Hawks, this coming up. The Bucking Ball in Gillette, Wyoming over New Year's Eve. I get to go there. Montana Circuit Finals a couple of weeks later. Rapid City, South Dakota.
In the new arena.
In the new arena.
Black Hills Stock Show. Yeah. Rapid City.
Yeah. And then get to go spend 12 days or so down at Tucson,
La
Arizona.
Fiesta de los Vaqueros.
Yeah, the Party of the Cowboys.
Yes.
But
then in the summer, you're...
and then, Valley City, North Dakota, the North Dakota Winter Show. And let me tell you, it's usually winter.
Oh, damn right it is.
Valley City.
And I always look in the summer. It's those good ones, your Greeley, Colorado, and your Sheridan and Salinas. And you got some good ones.
Redding, California, Cooley City, Washington, Central Point, Oregon, Livermore, California, Pleasant Grove, Utah, Greeley, Sheridan, Big Fork, Montana.
Ooh, that's good. That's the next big 4th of July rodeo.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in a perfect spot of the country. I know.
On the banks of Lewiston, Montana, Great Falls. Yeah, I'm just lucky. Lewiston, Idaho, Filer, all that. And so it's good. It's a good life.
Well, thank you for doing this, by the way.
Oh, no. Thanks for
And I do wish we could.
2 hours. We need 2 hours.
I've considered, though, I'd love to come back and do a rodeo. That
Yeah.
a couple of years ago in Big Fork, Ash Cooper couldn't get across with COVID. And can you come? I said, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have a PRCA card, but I would love, that would be fun.
Oh my goodness, that Big Fork rodeo, it is so much.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, in the words of a famous rodeo announcer, Will Rasmussen, one of the nice guys in the industry, one of the good guys.
I got to
We
quit.
could,
You know what?
no, that's a good one.
I want to be imparting.
Yes, I'm with you.
Great thing that I learned from Hadley Barrett. Bob Tolman's like this too. It wouldn't matter. He didn't know everybody that walked up to him. He knew very few. But the gift that he had was when people walked away from him, they felt better than when they walked up to him. And doggone it, if more people gave, would give more than they took, we'd all be better off. So
Well, thanks for doing. We could go another hour.
we could. I love it. Thanks for letting me on.
Thanks, buddy.
You bet.